Hello and welcome to Garblag Games. We're playing Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th edition, and this is Flint Steel! Hello and welcome back to episode 4 of Flint and Steel. I'm Pete the Games Master, and in a moment we'll go around and everyone will say who they are and who they're playing, and you may notice that we have a new player. Sam.
I just
hello.
thought Kev had shaved.
Yes, I'm Sam and I will be playing Kevin. Wait.
You'll find out in a minute who Sam is playing. Sam has returned to the channel. She's previously on the Five Cities show, our D&D show, which you can find earlier on the channel, with not very great sound, but still it was a lot of fun. So go and check that out. Before we go round, please don't forget to check out our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Also go and check out our Discord. There is a link on the Facebook page. More and more people are joining us and we're having lots of cool conversations, and we had a voice channel used. Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah, we were playing Star Wars last night.
That's cool. That's cool.
Well.
Also, please go and check out our Patreon. We're up to 32 patrons.
Nice.
Thank you to all of you awesome, lovely people. Everything you do to help us helps us make it better for everybody else. So from new kit, new gear, to all the extras, you know, the stuff for the games and books and paying for websites and all that kind of stuff. It's amazing. Thank you very much. Lastly, we also now have our Redbubble page, which you can get lovely merchandise. Let me just wipe the wine off of this. There's another mug there, Simon.
You can't see the logo if you have it all the way around there.
But I'm drinking the
Lovely
wine.
mugs.
Roger, it's
Show the. Right, it's end on. Unfortunately, I need to. Yes, we have these lovely mugs with artwork that I have created, or Bob. The logo you can see on the screen below me. You can get that on a mug. We also have notebooks with D&D character sheets on, and throw pillows and all kinds of other stuff. Just in case case you want a pillow, cuddle your character, you can hold the pillow and write on the... It is getting weird. Anyway, okay, right.
I need an adult.
The last thing to announce, to talk about, is our big subscriber giveaway. We're now up to 905 subscribers at time of recording, and one lucky subscriber will be winning a set of prizes based on how many subscribers we have on the 20th of December. We'll be doing a live show on Facebook to give away prizes. Now, the prize depends on how many subscribers we get to. If we get to 925 subscribers, you'll get a personalised map drawn by me, such as the Abandoned Tavern, which we used on the show last couple of episodes as a battle mat. If we get to 950 subscribers, you'll get a Zweihander RPG book, which is a nice, thick, chunky book sent to you by the lovely people over at Grim and Perilous Studios. Daniel Fox, thank you very much for your support. And if we get to the big 1,000 subscribers...
What do we get for 1,000, Pete?
A $50 drive-through RPG voucher. Yeah, absolutely. One person will win all of those prizes.
And something else.
And a copy of Black Road, our Zweihander RPG setting that is on drive-through RPG. 3 runners-up will also get a Zweihander PDF and a Black Road PDF as well. We'll be doing all of that on the 20th of December on the Facebook page, so don't forget to go and check that out as well. Now, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and then go to either Flint Steel Season 2 or Masters and Monsters, the Mage the Ascension game, like one of the videos and comment on it, either what you'd have your personalised map based on or what you'd spend your voucher on. And then we'll pick them out of a hat. Roger's going to pick the winner on the 20th of December. It's down. I want to take it out of his beard. I don't want to touch it. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that's enough announcements.
Can I slip my name into the hat?
Yeah. They all say Roger. Yeah.
I wish. I've been told I'm not allowed.
Roger's not allowed to enter.
You're not allowed, Roger.
Oh.
No, you have your own corner of the studio.
You're not even allowed to pretend it wasn't you. Oh, look.
I think Roger's going to start decorating that area over there.
I will.
Yeah.
This is my wall.
Yeah.
What have you got up there?
I have an Imperial Knight.
Fair.
Yes. Games Workshop poster.
Yep.
Okay, anyway, without further ado, we will start with introductions around the table, and we'll begin on my left.
Hi, I'm Simon. I'm playing Alvin, the fearless horseman. I wish he was a bit more feared sometimes. But he's not.
Cool. What did you spend your experience points on?
I spend my experience points on being combat aware.
Oh, cool.
Which basically means if I leap over Bagric, charging in someone with a spear, and there's two people standing inside of me, I can be like, yeah, you're not.
You can sense a surprise.
Yeah, see? And then I can make a perception test, which I'll fail, so it doesn't actually matter.
Cool. Sam.
How much are we going here?
Maybe just the name.
Secrets.
And we can do a bit more in
Morgan Schaefer.
Oh. Ooh.
Who is
There
a
is a little bit of
cool man.
information on the screen right now for the eagle-eyed. I made the nameplates a little bit smaller, so they take up less of the screen. But it does say what your character
Does that
does.
mean I can't read them, Pete?
It does.
Ow.
If I put my glasses over there, maybe I've got a better chance. No, that doesn't work.
Cool. Roger?
Hi, I'm Roger. I'm playing Bagric Rolfson, the Dwarf Guard, and I spent my XP upping my initiative.
Really? Okay, cool. What's that now?
43.
Whoa. Blimey.
Hi, I'm Lawrence. I'm playing Torvald Rolfson. I'm the Dwarven Scout, and I've actually spent some XP this week. I've gained combat aware as well,
Cool.
because after the last the events of the last few weeks,
You
I
need
kind of needed it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've also increased my skill with crossbow as well,
Very
just to help
handy.
things along.
Very handy. Two wise decisions for Torvald there. So, previously on Flint and Steel, you had ventured into the abandoned tavern where you had been set upon by a small nest of Fimir. There have been various sort of close moments vaulting over Bagric into combat, being bloody beaten
turn out
by
to be a very
Fimir
good
in a
idea.
cupboard. And generally lots of fighting. It was we figured out a few more of the rules last week. We still missed out a couple. Like a large creature can disengage from you without provoking a free attack.
Yeah.
So when they were having to roll willpower checks to hit you, if they failed, they could have just stepped to try on somebody else.
Yeah.
But you live and learn. Next time the Fimir will be a lot more deadly. And there'll be a lot more of them as well. Anyway,
A lot more of them.
so we ended the episode with the four of you having killed what looked like a larger, more armoured Fimir in the old tavern innkeeper's little home that was in the corner, the slightly sturdier built part of the tavern. There were four Fimir laying in wait for you, Alvin, as you leapt into combat. I loved it. It was a great moment, you leaping over there.
Yeah.
We had some good bits, Siegbert with his hammer smashing Fimir in the chest. It was a good combat session. So, you guys have the adrenaline is just seeping out of your body. You're standing in this room, stone floors, stone walls. There's some mangled body parts in the fireplace.
And then a lady appeared, didn't she?
Yeah, there are dead Fimir bodies all around you, and the door behind you opened up, and you all turned, blood dripping from you, weapons out, eager for more Fimir. And there was a young girl standing in the doorway, and she said, "Are you here to help us?" And that's where we rejoin the action. This young girl has got bare feet. She looks bruised and beaten, and her hair, there's a chunk missing, there's blood in her hair, although it doesn't look like her own. And she kind of stumbles into the room, sort of, you think one of her eyes is so badly bruised that it's kind of closed, and she's sort of looking, help me, please, and sort of stumbles to her knees. He's unconscious. He's been unconscious a while, and the others, I don't know what they're doing with them down there. Screams, and she kind of starts crying, weeping on the floor. She kind of points back out the door.
I will. Siegbert, would you mind looking after the lass? We better go have a look.
Indeed, I will. And he kind of goes over to tend her, and if you remember, there was a side room with like a bed. Siegbert says, "Yes, I will tend to her." He takes her into the side room, and lies her down. He says she's exhausted and wounded. I will look after her here. Please. You guys are covered in blood and very capable. He's kind of like, maybe I should be here.
I'll go find him.
Before I leave the room,
Sigmar guide you.
I am going to go and check the fireplace.
You go over to the fireplace. It looks like the remnants of some people that have been eaten by Fimir are kind of just not like they've been intentionally collected here, but someone's been eating them and just like thrown them into a corner.
Does it look like there's part of a halfling in there?
How much are you willing to like get in there?
Well, I'm covered in blood.
Alvin
I got sprayed full of blood.
Alvin like pulls
Even
up a
just
big.
hitting people. I got squirted full of blood.
Some of it's his, some of it's theirs.
I'm really covered in blood.
So you kind of pick up a big bit of cloth that's like slick with gore and viscera,
Yeah.
and you like throw it to the side.
Basically,
the finger flies out.
I need to
from
find
it.
out if the halfling is
There are no half. You can't see anything that's kind of the proportion of a halfling.
Okay.
There's no hairy foot, kind of thing.
There would be.
Yeah, you wouldn't eat the hairy foot, would you?
You wouldn't.
They got very thick, leathery
Yeah,
soles.
yeah,
That's not the bit to eat.
I didn't
Right,
find
I'm going to stomp over to the doorway.
Okay, right. You go over to the doorway. Torvald, what are you doing?
I'll go with him.
Okay, so two dwarves. You go out of the doorway into
okay.
the corridor.
Alvin, you're coming?
Yes.
All right.
As you go, it's quite quiet out in the main area. As it was exposed, some of the doors have been torn off in days long gone past, and you can hear the kind of strange silence now that there's no kind of chaotic fighting and battle all around you. And you step out down the corridor and you head along. It's only 6, 10, 15 yards or something. You head down, and to your right there's back into the courtyard. You step out and there's the well.
Is there still water in the well?
Further down you go over and check it out.
Is there a bucket?
Yeah, it
Was
was drinking from the bucket. Sam's done her homework. That's wicked.
I shall draw some water
Okay.
to clean all the blood and ichor off me,
Okay.
so I can see where the holes really are.
Okay. Probably a good idea. Okay, so you lower the bucket, and the bucket kind of goes down and splosh.
I'll try not to catch the Fimir we threw down the well.
Yeah. Splashes into some water, and as you do that, you hear the core of a drums in the deep. No, you hear the core of a raven from above, and you're kind of startled because there's no other sounds of nature or animals around. As I said last time, remember the fight and the Fimir had kind of forced all other life kind of away, and it was very quiet. It's just very still, and it's pierced by this core of a raven, and you kind of look up, and this large raven kind of swoops down and lands on the crossbeam of the well, and it looks at you, and he goes, like really staring at you, like big bright eyes, like with a strange.
Are we talking initiative test?
Do you speak Raven?
No.
Make an intelligence roll. No. And
Not an intelligence roll. God, I'm done for.
and it flies. It sort of picks itself up and turns. It looks at you again, and then it flies towards the tavern where the door was that the Fimir came through, and it caws as it goes, flying, these large wings flapping, and it kind of flies in through the doorway.
I'm just going to...
Torvald, you're slightly... This is kind of strange to you, as someone who has read a lot about portents and signs and those kind of things. Mm-hmm. It's very strange that this raven would appear when all other life in the area has fled, at the moment that you happen to make a noise. The bucket's in the water, and you're pulling it up like...
Pulling it up.
I've not stopped. I'm just...
We should go that way, but I really do need to find the holes.
As you look across the courtyard to your left, there is a stable area, which you can... As you look at it, it's fairly dark in there. You can see that there are kind of old stable stalls with masses of... You're not sure, like material or sticks or wood or cloth or something in there, like bundles, like piled up high, and then ahead of you, there's a long stone wall, and then there's a doorway into the tavern.
Yeah.
Directly to your left, there is a kind of obviously what has been used in a long time ago as some sort of storage area, and there are loads of barrels and crates, and they look slightly rotted. There's various different things down there that are,
Alright, I'm going to go towards the tavern. Is that where the raven went?
Raven flew in through the door of the tavern.
Yeah, I'm going in.
Okay, right. As you go in,
Stomp.
Blank.
as you go in, the Raven is standing on the bar of the tavern. There are shattered tables all around. There are blood stains. There are arrowheads stuck in the wall. You see a large orc sword embedded in a table to one side. Big, cruel-looking, roughly forged weapon. But there are no bodies in here, but there are very large bloodstains, like maybe where a bleeding out body may have lain for a while. There's kind of detritus everywhere. There's kind of old shattered glass on the floor. There's mugs and horn cups sort of strewn around. It's a real mess of a tavern. And the Raven's kind of standing on the bar, and it looks at Alvin as through the doorway.
Yeah.
You can see it.
Yeah.
It's trying to.
Yeah.
It's landing. It's
Have
looking at you.
I washed myself with...
As you pour the water over yourself, you look through the doorway where
Yeah.
Bagric and Torvald have gone,
Yeah.
and the Raven's looking at you, and it goes,
Ah! Come on.
and it like pops
Okay, I shall
Hops.
finish.
towards the back doorway.
Alright, I'll go that way.
Okay.
Okay,
Once I have poured water over my head, I shall proceed with haste.
okay.
Yeah, we're not going to be hard to find.
Everyone make
Clang, 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 clang.
everyone make perception rolls.
Yes.
Everyone?
No, sorry.
I rolled a 3.
Just checking.
I rolled 300.
Wow.
You rolled a 3 as well.
You rolled 30.
I rolled 30, yes.
Oh.
I rolled 30.
Okay.
But I'm Alvin, so
So-
I rolled 300.
Yeah.
Hey!
So, Bagric, you're at the front. The crow lands in front of the first doorway on the left. And it kind of looks at you and looks at the door. Looks at you and looks at the door.
I'm ready to shield and axe and just
Torval,
boot the door.
you're pretty sure that through the gaps in the floorboards, there's like a disappearing light, as if it's just gone dark beneath your feet. As if a light was put out or moved or shielded.
Yeah.
Alvin, as you're washing and you're kind of catching up with the guys, you can hear through the gaps in the floorboard a whimpering, crying, and like.
Are the floorboards old?
Yeah, so there's gaps here, there, and everywhere, and it's kind of blood has soaked through them.
So I could just
They're
jam
quite-
my spear
they're
in
quite-
and snap a
that's a
floorboard.
They're
bad
quite
idea.
thick. Some of them have rotted away. You think it's a magic spear,
It's a magic spear.
so you might be able to pop a
I
floorboard.
just use my spear, my shield, wedge in.
Okay. Which hand are you using your shield with?
Both.
Well, that's dual wielding. No. Okay, so you're gonna behind you. Alvin is like boom, boom, boom into the ground.
Pop it.
Bagger, you get to the door.
I just axe and shield ready. I'm just going to boot the door in.
I'm amazed,
Okay.
right, that the 3-ton of Bagric actually walking along a rotten floor didn't just go straight through the first
There are supports. There's various things. Obviously, something in the past has made.
Sometimes
holes
it's
in the
easier to
floor.
find the stairs.
Coming from Bagric, that's like really. I thought you'd have just jumped up and down.
I was going to say, just found a weak spot and gone.
See you in a minute.
I'm still getting used to there being
Dramatic
weak spots
entrance
in
number one.
architecture.
In the floor. Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Weak
we,
spot.
dwarves wouldn't do such a thing.
Okay, so you get to the door and you kick it open. It's not locked.
Sort of,
Yeah, and the door kind of flies, whack, hits the side, and it hits the inert form of a woman
Yes.
lying on the floor that has had both her arms removed, and she's clearly dead. But the door whacks into this body.
that would have been awkward otherwise.
Yeah.
Sorry, love.
Sorry.
You can see now in this room huddled forms on the floor, and they are tied and gagged and bound in their, long johns, underwear type get up. They've obviously had anything protective stripped from them, and as you kind of kick the door in, the raven flies in and lands on the shoulder of an inert man who's lying facing the other direction. Looks maybe beaten and
How many
bruised.
tied up people in a 4?
There's there's one dead one.
And
4, yeah. So 3
living ones.
and 4 living. They're kind of, one of them sort of looks over and these big, wide, frightened, terrified eyes stare at you out of the darkness and just like.
I'm going to basically...
And then people start moving on the floor and they're like.
I'm going to basically pass my shield back to Torvald, who's behind me, holster my axe and remove my helmet.
Okay.
It's alright, we're here to help.
Sam, you are awakened from a dream of a raven guiding you through a wood. The wood is strange, however. At each tree there is a bound and gagged figure. There is some formless creature eating it, biting it, whatever. And as you walk through, there is suddenly from the ground, water flows up around your feet, around your knees, around your waist, and all of the people in the trees, there's suddenly just these almost like pillars standing in a massive lake, and the water suddenly flows left, and everything disappears, and you realise you're lying on your side, and you wake up, and the raven goes "Caw!" and flies out of the room.
But tied up and...
You're tied up.
Yeah.
You've got gagged. You're in your peasant underclothes kind of thing. Your armour's been removed.
Mm-hmm.
Your weapons have been removed.
Mm-hmm.
You've been mostly restrained.
Mm-hmm.
You're not really injured. They're obviously keeping you fresh for whatever purposes later on. But you've been thrown in here in such a way that you've found it exceptionally hard to get out.
So
There's
I'm
blood
facing
and
away from the
yeah.
door. Whatever's going on's behind me.
yeah, so you can now hear heavy feet stepping into the room, and the person that you can see in front of you is going.
Did he hear my voice, or was that after?
That's what kind of roused you.
So what I would try and do then
Yep.
is, if I'm laying, everything's going on behind me, there's
Yep.
this terrified person in front of me, to kind of roll around and at least be in front of them
Okay.
to whatever is going on, and
Sure.
turn around.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the body the raven had kind of landed on suddenly moves and turns, and you see a man that looks like. What does the character
well, at
look
this
like?
point, he's in his PJs.
No,
yeah, okay.
You know, trousers and.
So, he's quite wiry, fairly kind of, I don't know. Yeah, he's got.
Rangy.
No. He's quite tall,
Quite a
fairly wiry
pointy
build.
nose.
He's not very heavy set.
Okay.
He's got kind of short-ish brown hair, grey eyes because I rolled that on the table.
Okay.
And it's probably looking slightly worse for wear, but defiant.
Okay. It looks like this person has positioned themselves between you and this frightened person. You now see that a dwarven warrior
That's not what I was expecting.
in armour, in full armour, has
Apart from the helmet.
has stepped into the room, helmet's off, and you can see another dwarf sort of between that dwarf's legs, and the retreating, flapping wings of a raven. Yes,
It's all right, lad. We're not here to hurt you. And I'm going to sort of
ungag and untie.
start
Yeah.
ungagging. And,
Okay.
well, I'm going to
Okay.
ungag before I untie. In place, I'm going to fucking hate dwarves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Worst.
20.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You all hear a crack, and in the other room, Alvin has popped a floorboard. You've now got this. They're quite thick floorboards as well. It's obviously built quite sturdy. But your shield and your spear together, you've kind of put the spear through the straps and using it as a large kind of pivot. You pop one out, and you can now see into with a bit more space down below. It's quite dark down there, however, but you think you can see kind of movement on some sort of dirt floor. You're not sure what's down there. It's quite dark.
Go find out what that bloody manling's just done.
Okay, so you've been ungagged and getting untied, and all the people in the room stop panicking. Although one of them sees the dead woman and starts panicking again, but eventually you sort of calm them all down. And you start
I
to,
ungag them.
You
but
have
I'm not,
no idea who these people are.
I'm not untying them at the moment. I'm literally just
Not these
ungagging.
people. The other tied up people in the room. You were thrown in there.
So anyone.
Hooray!
I shall light a torch.
Okay. You light a torch. Okay.
And then I shall kneel down,
Okay.
stick my head in,
Okay.
torch,
Okay. Right.
and have a look around.
Okay. Right. So you get like you have to like lay flat on
That's fine.
the wood, and you sort of stick the torch and your head in through this large hole.
I will stand. I will
Yeah,
stand next to him and
no.
grab the back of his tunic.
Torvald, as you walk in, Alvin is sticking his head down a hole in the floor to look below. In the what looks like a basement below you, which looks like they haven't bothered to like really pave the basement. They've just cut it out of the rock and the ground. You can see a large circle drawn in blood with an 8-pointed star drawn across it in blood. In fact, body parts sort of dropped when they've run out of blood on this large pattern on the floor. And the movement you could see, that's kind of off to the right, is there's a cluster of people tied, gagged, bound on the floor there, next to a mound of body parts. Previously, maybe part of them, part of somewhere else, you don't know. But it's a macabre scene. There's a filth, a stench that you can smell. These people are being terrified, and you smell fear, literally, coming out of the room. As you kind of look around, you can see off to one side, there is one of the walls has collapsed, and there is a tunnel that has come into the room. There's rubble on the interior of the room. Takes you a while to like look, take all of that in. Make a cool roll.
I don't even know what.
It's a skill.
It's fine. I'm not going to roll very well.
29.
29.
He says rolling at 29.
Not bad.
It's against your willpower.
Cool, yeah, it's willpower, and there's a skill tool as well.
He's got 5 in it.
5 in it, which
You
takes
know, I'm not going to do very well.
which takes my skill of 29 plus 5 means I
30.
passed.
Oh, you
it
rolled
by
29,
5.
didn't you? Yeah.
I passed
Okay,
it by
cool.
5.
So 1 success level.
Da, da, da. I didn't fail it.
Yes. So you don't vomit. Okay. But you kind of, Torvald's got a hold of you, but you kind of pull your head out. After a while, it's quite a lot to sort of keep staring at. You guys, you're in the other chamber. You've been lying down, tied up for a while, and you're kind of stretching your body. And
Yep.
you're
Still tied
cracking
up.
Oh, still tied up.
I ungagged
Ungagged.
everyone. I'm
Oh,
trying to
okay,
establish
sorry,
if they're
sorry.
hostile or not before I untie them.
Okay, you start untying them.
Ungagging them.
Ungagging them. Sorry, I would assume you'd be sort of helping them out.
Well, I'm trying to find out if they're hostile first.
He's
Oh,
working on it.
you ungag a woman, and she's like, "Oh, thank you, Master Dwarf. Where is my daughter? They untied her. I didn't know what was going on, and then there was there was some noises, and she got free, and she ran away.
Does she look like, and I'll describe the woman that ran into the room.
Yes, that's my daughter.
She's safe, love. She's with a priest.
Oh, well, Sigma be praised. Could you untie me, please?
I'm gonna boot knife.
Boot knife, which is a two-handed sword.
No, a knife is for cutting things, not
Yeah.
a weapon.
So you pull a knife out and you cut her bonds, and she gets up and kind of cracks her arms and shoulders and stuff.
Stay here. We haven't checked everywhere yet. We'll make sure you're safe.
Well, okay, thank you. The road has just been getting so much more dangerous. I didn't think we'd be taken.
Well, it's going to be a bit safer than it was.
Oh, you've killed them.
Every one of the buggers we could find.
Thank you,
How many?
Master Dwarf. And she kind of
About a dozen
maybe, yeah.
ish.
There were about 5 to begin with, and then 4
Well,
after
we
that.
killed
Yeah.
2 by the road,
Oh yeah,
and then we
that's
killed
true.
one of them
Yeah.
we killed about 6 or 7 around the middle area and then 3 more. So about a dozen-ish.
Yeah.
About a dozen.
Yeah. But that was only because we didn't know what we were doing. The combat didn't quite work properly.
You're not there. Shut up.
Do you know
the two of you?
Oh, we've got a couple of friends. There's two more.
4 of you killed 12 Fimir.
Aye.
She starts crying, and she kind of sits down on the floor in the corridor, and just is just like, she looks exhausted. She probably
Don't
hasn't
worry,
eaten.
we'll get you to safety. I'm gonna basically.
They were doing things downstairs. They were taking people downstairs. There's something horrible. We could hear screams in the night, and there were disgusting noises. I don't know what was going on.
We'll look into that. Don't worry, and I'll ungag the next person.
If you wouldn't mind, I can probably help.
Who are you?
Morgan. And you?
Bagrick. Cut the bonds.
Your
Appreciate it.
shoulders hurt so bad.
I'm going to free the
But
others.
you don't let on too much.
I'm pretty confident that the others are all right. I'm just going to.
Yeah. So they
I've
seem to
established
be.
they're not a bunch of chaos
they seem to be
worshippers.
villagers, and one of them tells you that they were actually travelling to the town of Armdorf, which is the town that you're heading to.
Don't worry, we'll get you there.
Oh, thank you, Mister. I don't know what we. I don't know what we'd have done if you come along. They'd have eaten us.
Well,
Or
they won't
worse.
be eating anything anymore.
Thank you. They're kind of like shocked villagers. They've never been in any kind of experience like this, and they're kind of huddled together in the tavern main room, and kind of shuffle back that way. They kind of know tavern. It's like slightly safe. Although there's blood everywhere. There's blood everywhere. At least we'll go and sit down in there and just sort of be.
Well, I'll kind of lead them back that way.
Is there any sign of my belongings?
You think that they were taking all their valuable things off of people and either storing it in the storeroom by the staircase or in the place out in the courtyard. You had quite a bit of stuff, so you probably think.
Are there any blankets around? These people are barely dressed.
Excuse me.
I'll go take a look. I'm gonna.
So,
You steer with Alvin. I'll look. You're hurt.
Well, Alvin's got a strange look on his face.
Looks like you've seen a ghost manling. What's wrong?
well, there's more of them down there.
More
All right.
people or more Fimir?
More people.
You can hear now, like faint shuffling down.
You hold this side of the rope and lower me down.
Have we checked to make sure there's no more? There's got to be stairs somewhere.
I will look for some stairs.
You know where the stairs are. You've been here
Yeah.
for a couple of days and they've thrown you about a bit and you've seen where the stairs are. They're in the room next
This
to the
way.
one you were being held in.
I'm still going
All right,
down.
stay
the rope.
behind me. And show me where to go.
Okay,
and
so
I'll
you
stomp
throw a
down the
rope
corridor.
over a
Putting
beam,
my helmet
Yeah.
back
one
on.
of the few remaining beams.
No, just no.
I'm going.
I'm not sure Torvald's going to hold the rope for you. I think he wants to get downstairs.
Well, I've given
We're
him the rope
walking
and I'm
to the
going.
stairs.
So he's either going to hold the rope or he's going to let go, one way or the other. Right? I'm going down.
You know
on the
what
rope.
to do.
Right.
Okay,
I'm
so
either gonna hit
so
the
do you
floor.
want to find your stuff first, or do you want to go down the
No,
stairs?
Bagrick wants to go downstairs, and I know where the stairs are. So
Okay.
he's going in front, and I'm guiding him.
Okay.
I will, when he chucks me the rope,
Yeah.
I'm going to very sensibly tie it to the bar.
Okay, you tie it to the you throw it over the last remaining beam and tie it to the bar, and then you can lower yourself down.
I'm going
on your-
down.
Okay. You're going shield, spear, and kind of like trying to descend, so you're ready to get them out when you descend.
I'll do the whole wrap one leg round the rope thing and just go down with my chainmail glove.
Yeah. Set it on fire.
The things in my other hand.
I'm joking. Don't worry. You start sliding down the rope. You guys.
I'll drop him the torch when he gets to the bottom, because
Okay.
otherwise he has no light.
Okay.
No, I was just taking the torch with me.
Oh, you're taking the
Yeah,
torch.
it's like sliding down heroically.
So I'm dropping your weapons to you.
Your
instead
cape
there.
is fluttering around
I
you
don't
as
need
you
the weapons.
descend.
I've got a torch.
Okay, so you guys, Morgan, you direct Bagrick to the staircase. In the small room next to the staircase, there are various boxes, crates. They seem to have been gathering stuff from travellers and just like stashing it They know that these things are precious. They are intelligent creatures, but where they are right here, they have no use for it. So they've just piled up a load of stuff.
Hoarded a cupboard
You
full
see
of...
your chainmail lying over a like a chest on the side, just been thrown to the side, which is black chainmail, isn't it? Blackened chainmail. Do you want to pick it up and put it on, or are you going to just carry on?
Oh, where are we? By the stairs?
Yes, yeah, you're about to go down the stairs.
I'm just going to... If I've seen the stairs, I'm just going.
Okay, right, you start down the stairs. Have you got any source of light, or are you using your low light?
I can see in the dark.
Okay, cool. So you head down the stairs, and in front of you there is a small basement for barrels. And you know that if you turn around behind you, you'll be underneath where the tavern room is and where Alvin saw the stuff. So as you sort of turn, you can see that there's another corridor underneath the tavern, heading to maybe some sort of cold storage or some other storage.
I'll basically go there.
Okay. You walk down a corridor. As you do, heroically from the ceiling, cape fluttering, abs on show, I think, maybe, like
He's
a
wearing
Spartan
armour,
warrior.
I
I
think.
know. His armour
You going
gleaming
shirtless?
in the firelight.
Because it's soaking
He
wet.
slides down into the room. This large chamber has had one wall collapse inwards. You're behind? You're coming in behind Bagric?
If
Because
I've
you've just gone
spotted
down.
my kit, I
You
might
don't.
go and see if I can find the rest of it.
Okay, right. Your mace
If I
is
hear
there.
screaming, then I might help, but I think I'd be more help
Okay.
with my kit.
Sure. So you start putting your chainmail on.
Yep.
And under your chainmail, as you sort of pick it up, your mace falls onto the floor. Torvald, do you start heading down?
I'm actually going to cross back over the yard,
Okay.
and I'm going to go and get Siegbert and the girl and bring them back over into the tavern so
Okay.
they're all together.
Okay, good
As if
idea.
nothing else, I'm hoping that there will be a calming influence of having a priest of Sigmar with them.
Good idea.
So,
And if
Very
anything,
good idea.
and if anything starts to go strange, it's always worth having a priest of Sigmar around, as we've
Indeed.
discovered.
You have
so Bagric may well notice that he's no longer being followed, and there is some
He
jingling.
might not have done.
Jingling.
Bagric, yeah, he's got his helmet on. It's like,
Put his helmet back on again.
Yeah, I did say
like that.
I...
Serious business.
So I shall,
Well, I don't know
I
what's
shall
down there,
position
so-
myself between the mound of body parts
Yep.
and the people, so that I cause a shadow over the body parts,
okay,
so that if the people are alive or when they wake,
okay.
they won't necessarily see it. And they
You
will
are
go that way.
descending. Sure, you descend down, and there is a pile of body parts to one side. You sort of position yourself next to it, and there are Bagric. As you come in the room, you can see there are some forms tied up and bound on the floor. Make a perception roll. Make a perception roll.
I don't think I'm going to pass that one.
Maybe. It's not bad. 15, but I do have minus 20. Oh, yes. Actually, yeah, I do.
Yeah?
So I'm on 53, 33. I passed by 2 success levels.
Okay, so Bagric, as Alvin comes down, he seems to be clearly sort of trying to position himself, and he's looking at where he's going. What he doesn't spot as he moves his torch around to sort of counterbalance himself is that one of the forms tied up on the floor has a tentacle instead of an arm. And they're kind of, now as you watch these figures, these bodies that are all bound, much like the ones you saw upstairs, they're kind of riding against each other, and you can see one has a hoof instead of a foot, and another has like strange reptilian-like skin, as if these are some sort of mutant creatures, like the ones you fought in the sewers of Nuln back in Series 1. These creatures are clearly mutated by chaos, and Alvin hasn't spotted that as he's descending down.
Watch yourself, they're mutants. I'll say, advancing, axe ready.
Your hand grips
Okay.
the rope, and you are sort of, they're tied up, they're prone, they're not any immediate risk. But still, you don't want to go rubbing yourself on a mutant. So you're kind of dangling like a foot or two off the floor. Your foot is wrapped around your foot, and you kind of look down with your torch, and you can see now these creatures kind of lying on the floor. They look like they're in immense pain. They're gagged in some form, but you can now hear them. They're very low moaning. Very strange, almost as if they're in some kind of trance or something. They seem to be sort of moving around, looking in pain.
As soon as I get in range, the axe is coming down.
Okay. Bagric just wades in.
I'm not butchering, I'm literally just killing them.
Okay, you like neck chops.
Executionist.
Yeah. Okay.
across the thing.
So you're like, there are 5. They clearly used to be humans, apart from one, which looks like a halfling.
Oh, does it look like Chamonix?
It looks
French.
like Ferdinand, but he seems to have some sort of strange growth coming out the front of his face, like his face is turning into a beak.
Is that the only thing he's got? So it looks like it's turning into one.
He's clearly mutated.
Oh, okay. So he's
Yeah.
full.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's not. He's literally just killing them. He's not trying to.
No,
cruel.
I get that. It's a mercy kind of.
Yeah,
These people have been something's been done
Very
to them.
much considers this a
And they
mercy
are-
killing.
Yeah. You can see now that the rest of the room. I mean, you'd seen it before, but you can now see that there is a 8-pointed star painted on the floor in blood, and there are body parts that have clearly been used as some kind of macabre brushes to make this happen. And there's a broken, collapsed wall to the far left. At this point, you're kind of doing all of this, and you're there. You're
Well, I'll drop into the room.
going to help him mercy kill these.
Well, while he's doing that,
Okay.
because I've only got my torch.
Okay. Oh, sure.
I shall just check the rest of the room.
Okay, right. There are no other kind of people in the room, but there is this tunnel that leads away. Torvald, you bring the girl and Siegbert across, and Siegbert tends to all of the people, checking them over and making sure I'm saying prayers of Sigmar, and they are indeed, emboldened and their spirit lifted ever so slightly by the presence of a priest of Sigmar. They are still in a room covered in blood and stuff, so but Siegbert does his best to kind of calm them all. Morgan, you've got all your kit on.
Yep.
You've got your mace. You
Yep.
found a couple of your flasks
Yep.
in this room that you're in,
Good.
and you can
Alright,
now
well,
hear like.
if I've got enough to be battle ready,
Yep.
and I can hear something going on downstairs,
Mhm.
then I'll go and investigate.
Okay.
There's no shouting, screaming,
No.
proper battle noises.
No.
So yeah, I will slowly.
Yep.
Because I don't know who these people are. They might be butchering villagers. Who knows? Go and
You go down
investigate.
and you find Bagric is tending to some mutants.
Executing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alvin, as you approach the hole in the wall, you hear crying coming from in the tunnel. This looks like some roughly hewn tunnel that is just large enough for a Fimir to fit through. And it kind of snakes away in a rough shape. And you can just hear like a soft crying, like a woman crying. Right, you're dealing with that. That takes you a little while.
Mhm.
You come in, Bagric's doing that. You're like, okay, makes
Yep.
sense.
Right.
You can see Alvin over by a hole in the wall,
Wandering off.
sort of, well, not wandering off, but standing there going,
Having a look.
Torvald, you come down, and that's kind of the scene that you can all see.
While I'm doing what I'm doing, I'm going to shout up to Torvald to see if he can hear me.
Torvald comes down. He's got them all
Oh,
together, and he's come down.
What
Alright,
have you found?
Well, it sounds like a woman screaming or crying or something.
You hear,
When we're done here, we need firewood and lots of it.
from down the
Lovely
corridor,
stuff.
from down this tunnel.
Yeah. Someone better throw me my spear or my shield.
Well, Morgan's standing there.
They're gone. Come to the light.
You can just hear someone going. Sounds a bit like a noise you would have made.
Yep.
If you were tied up and
I'm gonna go and investigate.
Okay, so Morgan, this person that you
That's
just
some
met,
random person who you've no idea who they are.
yeah.
he is wearing black chainmail armor with a mace and various flasks on his belt.
It looks like he's got more hit points than I have.
Yes,
That's absolutely
because you're on about 2, aren't you?
I'm screwed.
You're like,
I think I was on 1 hit point and then I've had a poultice.
yeah. Hey,
That's where I'm at.
Yes. Morgan, you step into this tunnel. It's big enough for you to stand in, but just. And you kind of edge your way forward carefully. You've got your mace out. And you can hear this sound. Alvin kind of shining the light or passing the torch, whichever, you can see now that there is a huddled form in a kind of the ground of the tunnel sort of undulating.
So,
and
bound and
in a
gagged and
nook.
been dropped, or has kind of crawled away, or either. We're not really sure.
Possibly either.
Yeah.
And as you approach, this person sort of rolls over, and you can see that no sign of mutation. There is a woman bound and tied up, and she's kind of lying in a crook of a little hole in the ground, and it looks like her shoulder has been really badly bruised, and there is a blood stain on the wall next to.
Mutual.
Yeah. And she's kind of looking up at you, kind of with fear and like hope all mixed together in her eyes.
I'll stow the mace. Pass me the torch,
Pass you the torch.
and I'll wave it, like, so that she can see me.
Yep.
And like, you know.
And you see
kind of-
the alert drop.
Yep.
She sort of is gesturing
Back
to the
onwards?
onwards down the tunnel. And as you kind of look with the torch a bit, you can see that it goes off and it kind of broadens out a little bit, and it may be into sort of natural cavern.
Can
And
I hear anything else past
you can hear
her?
dripping water.
Okay. Right,
Am I
let's
done
get her
now?
out of here. I'll give
You're
the
done.
torch back,
All right,
I'll take the torch.
Okay.
and I'll go and.
I'm gonna.
You help
Fetch
her
her,
up and sort of get her into the main room. She, as you bring her in, you see that she has like blood, like symbols, like painted on parts of her body. I don't know if you're going to
Can she
ungag her.
walk?
Or she can kind of hop a bit. Her legs are tied, her arms are tied. She's finding it hard to move, but she kind of like can support herself, and she's kind of going. She's got really tight.
Yeah. Untie her legs.
Oh yeah.
Don't ungag her,
I'll-
because there's definitely a priestess of evilness doing chants and stuff, and I don't want anyone speaking until we're back in the light.
I'll cut
You're
the.
saying all of this.
Yeah.
She's like.
I'll cut the ropes. I'll cut the ropes so she can walk. I'll cut the rope so she can walk, and
Okay.
I will guide her into the other room, because I don't want to overstep whatever these guys are up to, because I don't know who they are or what they're doing.
So you're taking her back upstairs?
Back
or,
into.
or the big sacrificial chamber?
Well,
Hold on.
we can't really get back upstairs
I'm gonna
without
kind of-
going
Okay,
through that.
sure.
If I get to the tunnel and I see them bringing her, it's like I'll just like, you might want to blindfold her first.
She looks at you like,
I'll take it off when we're upstairs. Alright.
She doesn't look too impressed, does she?
okay, you blindfold her.
And I'll
She's
keep her with
like
me.
shaking.
I'll keep her with me.
Okay,
I'm going up the stairs with
Okay.
my torch
okay.
I'm gonna stomp
into the
down
tavern.
the sort of
Oh.
tunnel.
Okay, you're going to stomp down the
I
tunnel.
want to go.
I'm going to make sure that I've lit a torch.
Okay.
I'm going to shout down, "We've got a caravan. There are lots of people. We know where we're going. I'm not waiting for you, Bagric. You
Okay,
bugger off down
Go
a
a
tunnel."
bit down the tunnel.
I basically want to have a look in the natural cavern.
Okay, make a perception roll. You help her upstairs.
I would offer to
Yeah.
carry her up the stairs, but I'm not convinced that I could right now, and I don't
Yes,
want to fall
16.
over and make it worse. So I'm just going to
No,
guide.
you didn't roll less
You
than
guide
20,
her.
did you?
At one point, her foot rests in a particularly sticky patch of blood on the floor, and her foot like reflexively moves away, and she kind of shuffles forward a bit faster. But you kind of calm her and get her upstairs into the tavern area. Yeah. And then you
Wherever-
take her.
There was
The
another
others,
one that
where-
I didn't see behind him initially.
Well, you know, there's another
Yeah.
wharf somewhere.
and,
He's downstairs.
And another
Yeah.
one, and the
There's a
girl
priest of
and a-
Sigmar. Clearly a priest of Sigmar. He's shaving his head. He's done the whole thing.
As I go up the stairs, do I
Yeah,
walk
very
past a
warrior
big pile
priest
of
of Sigmar.
stuff?
There's a big pile of stuff.
Is there an? I'll root through to see if there's an axe.
Yes, you find an axe.
Good.
Like a sturdy hand axe for chopping wood kind of thing, not like a battle axe.
Yeah.
Okay, you find an axe.
Cool.
You take her upstairs and you take off the blindfold, and she's like, you can see she doesn't have any kind of horns or scales or a tail or
Yeah.
tentacles or anything. She looks.
And so
She
where
looks
are
okay.
you?
Probably in the
am
tavern.
in the tavern, chopping things up and throwing them down the hole I made when I ripped up the floor.
Right, so you're basically
gonna
going to
burn everything.
burn everything.
I'm going
Yeah,
to
okay,
do
you're-
what I'm going to do. What
Yeah.
Alvin does.
What Alvin does? Set fire to shit. Yeah.
So where we are, is there a
This
better
room.
place for us to gather rather than in here where we're about to get smoked out?
The safest place would be the other side of the tavern, where the innkeeper's residence is, or just in the courtyard.
I don't know.
Is there any?
I think where they are is probably the most body-free place.
Yes, it is the most body-free place.
Is there any unspoilt food items
So-
in this area?
No.
So I can at least ask, is there a better place to keep these people?
We're not
Yeah,
there.
it's
so,
about a
We're
mile.
still-
Oh, I
It's
thought you
about
were.
a mile
I'm
away.
still down. I
Oh,
came
okay.
down. I'm
It's
still
about a
down.
mile away, and it's the caravan that we were guarding.
Siegbert says, right now, this is the best place for everyone. And
All
he's
right.
kind of helping this man who seems to have a rather nasty wound on his leg.
I
What are you
will
doing with the woman?
ungag her.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. They would... Did you catch it? Is that
Did we catch what?
the thing? The thing it was doing... It did all that. It did that. Did that to people. It was trying...
The Fimir?
Is that what they're called?
The big, ugly,
The one-eyed
heavy,
thing.
Yeah, tail.
Yeah, and it had like a cloak and like a stick with like cold metal things attached to it that it pressed on my
I'll look at the
face.
priest. Since no one else is here,
He's there.
are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
You haven't seen
I'm
anything
just-
like that.
I'm just
You
chopping
haven't seen
stuff up.
anything like that.
No, not seen something like that. I hadn't even seen Fimir until we got here and killed them all, so it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, Siegbert says we haven't heard of a Fimir wearing that kind of adornment.
But with all the 8-pointedness and all the bits and bobs, it's there's definitely a sorcerer involved.
8-pointed star.
Yeah. Definitely
Siegbert.
sorcerer.
Fire burns in Siegbert's eyes.
Look, I'm
That's good.
getting ready.
Good, you sort that
Just
out. I'll
getting
be with
ready.
you in a minute. I'll do
Right.
starts binding up wounds.
Yes.
And the guy's like, ow!
Yeah.
Must burn.
Were you
Hopefully, it
injured?
won't catch the rest of the forest.
No, I'm okay. It spoke a bit of Whitelander. It was like they wanted to keep us fresh. Some of us.
Wash that off of you. I found some of the belongings. I'll
So you'd
bring
like-
them up.
I shall lean on my magical spear. If you're looking for injured people, I'm pretty screwed. I shall point at some holes
Yeah, you've got some various holes.
and a big
And
gash.
yeah.
Well, if we're trying to get these people out of here, then I'll bring up some of the stuff. I don't know how able some of them are. I mean, I know I'm not great, but
They seem to be generally okay, apart
But I
from the
don't
one
want to
who's
cause
got a
a
really
rush.
bad wound on his leg. You've seen.
so I'll pick the two other most able-bodied looking
Okay.
people
Yep.
to give me a hand bringing probably their stuff up,
Yeah, well, most of the stuff is either in that room by the stairs
which is what I found.
or out in the courtyard.
Do I know that's there?
Yes, you do,
Okay.
because you were dragged in.
Yeah,
You
okay.
saw stuff
Conscious.
being thrown on a big pile. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if you walk outside, you will see a lot of dead Fimir.
There are a lot dead for me lying there. There's
Ideally,
one
ideally, given the
against the
situation,
well
I'd
and-
probably rather keep the villagers in here if outside is worse.
when you do look
If
outside.
you step outside the door, it'll just be like corpses.
When you do look outside, you see a raven standing on top of the beam of the well. It just looks at you. It doesn't caw. It just looks at you.
No, that was me.
Oh, right.
I saw a raven
looks at you. It looks at you and it goes. And it just seems to be sitting there. It seems to have found something to nibble on.
So are you actually cawing at the bird?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Alvin.
Yeah.
Do you know this bird?
No, but he was talking to me earlier, and I just thought I'd be friendly, you know. I got a horse.
You're really proud of the horse. Anyway, cool. No,
Yeah, I was talking to you earlier.
I've got a horse. I've got a horse. It's bigger than a raven.
I had a horse.
Showing off your unicorn shirt again.
I've not got a unicorn, it's just a horse.
I had a horse.
Yes, had. Yeah.
The stables
They had
are
a horse
empty. The
for lunch.
stables are empty, right?
Yeah. No, there's stuff in there. You just might not want to go and look in there. Bagric, you are in this natural cavern. The tunnel you went through, you could tell, like various large creatures clearly hew that tunnel out of the rock.
I passed by 2 success levels on the perception test you asked me to make.
So, there's dripping water coming from different areas, and you can hear, maybe a bit further away, enough to be like a trickle of water. And that's kind of what you can hear. You can see on the floor in front of you large, dirty footprints, blood footprints, and the myriad of little nooks and crannies and tunnels that go away from this cavern. You can see they kind of go off down one of the tunnels.
I'll kind of call back. There's another one.
You're a dwarf, and you know this area
I know
fairly
tunnels,
well,
yeah.
but you know tunnels as well. This area is the Black Hills. Yeah, this area is kind of the edge of the Black Hills.
Oh yeah, that's where we're from with Carricknorn.
Different part of it.
Yeah, but it's further down, but same range.
Yeah. And you are basically aware that there's extensive natural cavern systems through a lot of this area of hills. Although this is like the farthest part of the hills out from the mountains, there's still often large, tunnel systems and things in these kind of limestone areas.
Can I hear anything besides the water? Can I hear, say, a very large creature stomping?
Make another perception roll. Torvald, what are you doing?
I've been in the main the room.
Yep.
Just taking a quick look and seeing if this looks familiar from what we used to do from back in Nuln, or if this is
in the chamber under the ground. Okay.
While dodging falling wood.
Sure. Yeah. There's like pong.
There's a rain of wood through the hole.
Just another day at the office.
At this point, it's just the strange manlings.
Right.
Basically.
You're going to have a proper look around.
Mm-hmm.
Right, give me a cap sheet. Make an intuition roll. As
it is a skill. Yeah, on initiative.
got the radiator on. It's a bit cold in here today. It's not too cold.
Well, that's a 9. That'll do it.
Okay.
Intelligence.
Intuition.
40. So 4.
You don't find anything in the room other than what's already been found. But what you do see is that there's the 8-pointed star. You're starting to get familiar, as horrible as it is, with some of these things. You've seen the book that the demonologist had previously. You've seen various other things
symbols
drawn out. And you realise now from this that there's an addition to this one, and there is a small little circle painted in the corner of the star that is pointing at the back wall.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like something was resting there, but it's not there now. Okay, Bagric, you can't hear anything in the tunnels.
I really can't.
You really can't. You can hear running water, but that's common in these kind of caves, and often.
All right, I'll kind of growl and stomp back down the corridor.
Okay, so you guys are up in the tavern. You've deposited a couple of tables, some broken chairs. The floorboards you pulled up. You're just pushing it all down the hole. One of the villager with the hurt leg is actually helping you now. You can stand still and kind of chuck stuff down a hole. You're chopping it up and passing it to him. The other two are helping you go and collect or sift through the boxes. They're varying age of these boxes. You can see that maybe some of this has been here for years.
A while.
And you find various bits of kit. You find your sword.
Good. I was wondering where that was.
And your other lamp oil, your holy water, all of those things.
Your stuff.
And
My hat.
your hat. Importantly, your hat.
Yeah.
And various other things. Your book, your notes, all that kind of stuff that you've got. You recover all of that. They find some of their belongings. which are fairly meek and meagre, but seems to give them a bit of hope that they've found their things. And in amongst it, you find sort of rotten things with maggots crawling through it. But you find various bags full of bolts of cloth. There's various pouches with coin in. There's like a couple of spears, a couple of other swords. There's a few shields. There's like a helmet with like someone's scalp still in it. There's a couple of suits of chainmail. One dwarven, one elven. It looks very thin, and it has sort of a fancy, not elven like magical elven, but designed for an elf. Probably. Yeah. Whereas the dwarf one is kind of shorter and
rounder. You said you had a caravan.
Looks a bit square.
Shorter and rounder.
Yeah.
We have a caravan, yes.
How many of you are there?
Well, we're protecting the caravan. The caravan, there's two caravans?
Three.
Three caravans.
Three caravans.
You got Gertrude and...
we came here
and
searching
Hartwin.
for a halfling that was taken from our caravan.
Harold.
And we have just found the halfling downstairs.
I see.
And we have just dispatched the halfling downstairs. But we will be able to take all the people that are here back to the caravan with whatever goods are here to help them start their lives again.
You take us to Arndorf.
We will take you to Arndorf. Or rather, the caravan will take you to Arndorf.
Well, the caravan's going off to... bear with me 1 second. The caravan is going off to Dunkelberg.
Isn't
Right,
that
okay.
further past it, though?
That goes off that way.
Yeah.
And you're going off that way to Arndorf.
And so Arndorf is the place where the...
It's a village. It's the village near where you've been told that the Sansevino's summer.
Okay. I'm just going to take a deep breath and just lay it all out there for him. Yes, we can take you to Arndorf. But when we get to Arndorf, we will kill every Sansevino that we find. So Arndorf might not necessarily be the best place to be when
Sansevino? What do you mean Sansevino?
They've got a villa near the village.
There's a castle near the village.
Yeah, we're going to go kill everyone in the castle.
It's... Okay, it's Castle Pfeifraucher.
Well,
Perhaps if
they're all Sansevinos, then we're going to kill them all.
Perhaps if we send the villagers with the
woman starts to see a
caravan
bit
and the
trouble.
goods.
I'm just trying to say, if you go to a village where we just happen to be going to kill all the bad guys,
The castle...
This is
the
why we shouldn't leave
ancestral
Alvin
home
alone.
of the king.
is he a Sansevino?
He's from Griswold in Reichland. We're still in Visenland here.
Are we? Okay. Well, we're chasing some guys called the Sansevinos who captured one of our friends. And basically, anyone who's either a Sansevino...
You know, Sansevino is like an organised crime family in Nuln. And they do have influence with families in the area.
Okay. So basically, somewhere around about that place, there's...
You
there's
guys
some
come upstairs
guys-
and Alvin's just laying out the
there's
whole
some-
story to everyone.
There's some guys
Pass me
who've
wine.
kidnapped one of our friends, and we've been told that's where they are. So we're going to go there, and we don't really negotiate. We just kill people. So that's what we're going to do.
Villagers would be welcome to take the goods here with the caravan.
Absolutely.
Potentially in payment for safe travel and company.
Oh no, I think they could just. I think basically
We don't
we're not
have
gonna-
anything to do with Griswold.
Well, just
The Count's castle is nearby,
yeah.
but
Look, don't worry about that. We'll get you to a town. You can find somewhere warm.
well, I want to go home.
That's
fine.
I'm in Arm.
We'll get you
Go
home.
then, that's
But-
fine.
But I have to warn you.
Yeah.
There's some people who have not been well recently.
There's a plague.
Shh.
Okay.
Get scared
Okay.
when you say that
Okay.
word.
I'm going to do that whole bicep thing with my shield and spear. Stand there. I'm just going to go. I'm going to die. I'm going to die at some point, right? And then I'm going to go. It's even on my couch sheet.
Yeah.
I'm going to die at some point.
What are you?
Other people are going to die too.
That is the way
Look.
of things.
We'll get. Look, don't you worry about all of that. We'll get you lot to that town. Just stick with us.
We sent word to Nuln for assistance. But that was a while ago, and we've been checking in the woods. We're trying to figure out
Didn't
where
the
this
problem
came from.
start in the woods?
Well, yes. Looks at you like, what? A hunting trip came back from the woods in the hills, and someone was ill, and now the priest has died, and
Father Joseph.
yes.
We got a priest.
Volkard,
I shall slap him on the back. So he like shuffles forward a bit.
Thanks, Alwyn. Volkard's ill. The town, the village is suffering at the moment. She seems to be sort of sad and thinking about it, and she's like kind of walks out of the room.
Subtle.
Right, so are we all good to go?
Should we check their place to make sure there's nothing else here? Before you burn it.
Too late.
Squirt some lamp oil down there, that always helps.
Alvin, before you burn the place, let's make sure there's no other buggers tied
Siegbert
up here.
says, I need to consecrate.
Oh, yeah.
So wait, go with Bagric.
Bagric, I'm with you.
Just keep that bloody torch away from me.
Siegbert leans over and kind of takes it away from him.
I'll just nod at Sigmar.
He goes, ha! And
Surprise,
he starts doing a prayer to Sigmar in the tavern above the...
I'm going to start like a room by room search. I'm literally just scouring the tavern.
I'm just following. Not
Excuse
being
me.
of very much use.
I will stay in the main room and watch the priest.
Okay. So, you check the place. Most of the rooms have been looted, cleared, and everything kind of gathered together in these two places. It looks like they've kind of gone around, smashed everything up. There's a few walls that have been knocked in, knocked out. Doors have been taken off their hinges. You know, you find a body of a dead person in a bed over in the guest quarters. The stable is probably the most disgusting chamber in the tavern. There are mangled corpses of horses mixed into the very nests of the Fimir that are made from collections of tree branches, cloth, rags, bodies, all gathered together, kind of in the stable. What's the word? Stalls, that's the word. And these stalls are now full of this kind of mixture that they clearly kind of clamber into to sleep and maybe eat and various other things. And the smell in there is disgusting. You will need to make cool rolls to go in that room to search it.
In my judgment,
33.
21.
Oh, yeah,
when
critical.
the place goes up, how much is it going to go up?
Well, a lot of the far side of it is stone, so probably not much of that side. But this side will burn, and you probably think the walls will collapse in.
In terms of the bodies in the basement and the one in this room that I have not forgotten about, taken care of, or...
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm throwing the wood into the basement.
Yeah,
'cause
where
I
the
ripped
bodies
a
are.
hole.
While the Sigmarite is doing his thing, I will say a few words over the armless woman
Okay.
and then leave her be,
Okay.
and then go and see what the slot are up to.
Were you still in the room?
I'm staying in the room. I'm gonna have
So
a...
you're saying last rites.
Mhm.
That's more than just
That's a
someone
bit weird.
passing a word over a dead body.
This sounds like something
Sounds like
more.
a priest.
Yeah, sounds like a priest. Doesn't necessarily look like a priest, but sounds like a priest.
Us. Yeah, we're no expert on priests.
Exactly. Exactly. But to
No.
you, a priest is like a, the
we-
Sigmar guy or a room priest. It's like
Or Farina. You've seen them.
sure.
They're a bit more obvious than this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stealth priest.
Stealth priest.
I'm actually going to spend. I'm going to sit with the people we found
Okay.
and have a talk with them about
Okay.
what's been happening. And
Have we moved them out of here, presumably? Or not yet?
not yet. I think they're still in here.
You're clearing the place first and then getting ready for it to
Because
burn.
one of the things I'm going to do is pull out the map cases have a rifle through and see if I can find if I've got something for this
local area.
For this area, I think I probably would have got something if we were heading this way.
Yeah.
And basically get them to just see if they recognise the places.
Okay.
And also to say where this illness started. Could they sort of suggest where it is on one of my maps?
I was going to be doing what I just did, more kind of as people were leaving and not there so much.
Okay, right. That's fine then. So,
but also, if he's doing
retcon
that, then I might have some interest.
Okay. So you got the map out, and they're sort of looking at it and saying, "Well, there's sorry, I'm just trying. There's Dunkelberg, and there's Griswold, and this is the River Grisen, and you've kind of got notes on that already. Yeah. There, about there. That's where the village is, and you can see now that the road you've gone on is going off towards Dunkelberg, and the short track that you're on would take you to this village. You've never heard of this village before.
Not many people have.
No, it's not seen great days recently, and there's barely, I don't know how many people living in the village now. It's
About 5 dozen.
Yes. I don't recognise you though. You're not from Armdorf. How? It's kind of looking at you suspiciously. Well, and kind of points to a rough area. Over here, there was a foraging party. I don't know exactly where they went, though, because they go off for a few days and they forage and they find stuff and then eventually they come back. They said they were attacked by strange creatures in this kind of area. And she goes, funnily enough, I mean, the castle's just over there.
Do you have a description of the creatures at all?
Large, scary. People were covered in vomit and piss. We weren't really. They ran away.
All right.
You know, but someone got infected with something. And the priest, Father Joseph, took this person in and tried to work his gifts or call prayers of Verena. The priest of Chalier also helped, as is their gift to do. But Father Joseph fell ill and died. We've buried them all on the hill, further away from the town. We just didn't want them.
About here.
But we moved your finger about there.
Right.
But the village sits on the river, but no one really stops at the village. They go from Dunkelberg to Griswold and barely ever stop. I mean, the other week, the Baron of Dunkelberg and his whole entourage went past on barges and didn't even look at the village. It's really, we're trying to survive on what scraps we get from trade on the river, but the Reichlanders have put a tax on any trade into Visenland. Just because we're on this side of the river, there's an extra tax. We can't, we take our fish to sell on the markets, we get taxed more. We have to try and pretend that we're from Reichland, and if we get caught, serious trouble. It's not looking good, But we try to make do. We're trying to, trying to prosper. And now we've had this bloody plague or whatever it is. I don't know. That word is too strong. I don't know. But
Not yet.
And Selma wrote a letter.
Did you say she was sick as well?
Oh no, nothing's going to take her down. She's tough. She is. She's been fishing the river for 30, 40 years since she was a little lass. She's, hard as nails, but she's had to take over the tavern because her husband's ill. So she hasn't been able to do what she normally does, and she's the best fisherwoman in the town. So it's tough times. We've been going out trying to do more trade, trying to talk to people in Nuln, trying to build up, a bit of a name for our village, but
and then you end up here.
We've been kidnapped. We were kidnapped off the road, and here and now half the people I've been out on this journey with are dead. I don't know what to say to you. hopefully the village is still there.
We'll get you back there. Don't worry.
Well, it sounds like you're headed there anyway.
I am.
You are.
As are we. Although, don't take too much from my manling friend. He's a talkative sort.
He seems like a brave warrior, but sometimes they're a bit hot-headed.
Literally.
The building behind her.
He's accidentally
As she's
set
talking to
himself on fire.
I don't know. You're searching. I don't know what to say. If you can get me back to Armdorf, then I will be ever in your debt. And if you can help my village, even better. I mean, if you have business in the area with the Pfeifraucher, then that's between you. He's a Reiklander, so you can stick a spike up his butt for all I care. What they're doing to us on the river is it's just wrong. She walks away, obviously sort of annoyed. You've kind of got her worked up about this, but she's added some information to your map, where the castle is, where the village is, and so the river's come out of the mountains, and Nuln's kind of down here, and then this village is up on the river, and then you kind of go off into the Reichland as you go north. And the Black Hills kind of come out of the mountains a bit.
Yeah,
and the tail end of the hills are just sort of north of Nuln, and that's where this
we're
castle.
sort of on the edge of this.
We're on the edge of this at the moment. Yes, exactly. So she's kind of storms off like upset and distraught, and she kind of walks out the front of the tavern. But you can see her just standing out there. She hasn't gone anywhere. She just clearly wants to be on her own for a moment. Bagric and Alvin, you've hunted around and you've found an assortment of oddities, goodies. You've found some bit of jewellery. You've found a couple of strange-looking flasks that are kind of bound up to make them look like they're quite secure. You're not sure why. You've found a variety of swords. You've found crossbow bolts, arrows, a couple of crossbows. You found a longbow. You found a few suits of chainmail, some leather with a big bite mark out of it, some shields, a couple that look like they've had massive claw marks down them or tail thumps into them. Everything off these people, that's whether it's damaged or not, they've just kind of chucked into a corner.
Okay. Basically, anything serviceable or valuable, we're going to gather up.
Yeah, sure.
Because I think we can all the weapons and armour we can just give to the village militia.
Well, basically, yeah, we can say, help yourselves. If we find money, if we find purses, I'm basically going to divide it between the number of people that we've found.
Okay.
So they've all got a bit of something to kind of,
Okay.
help.
Yep. Sure. Cool.
So-
Okay, so you kind of give them some
we
money.
search
They've
through,
got some stuff to take with them.
Clothes, like blankets if we find them.
Yeah.
So all the spears and weapons and things, we'll just bundle them up.
Once they've
And they can...
they're doing their kind of round of the thing.
Yep.
I'd like to just do a quick recce.
Okay. You looking for anything in particular?
No, but I might come across someone in a bed. Because you mentioned that earlier.
Yes, you did. You do.
And deal with.
Okay.
And then optimistically, not find my horse.
You find your horse.
What's left of it.
And then just kind of stroll back to wherever everyone is.
Okay. So you kind of all kind of
Gather back up in the thing.
well, the floorboards are being chopped up and everything's being chucked down a hole. So you guys kind of gather in the courtyard.
And where we'll have laid out all
I
of
shall
the
tell
stuff.
I shall tell Siegbert, I don't have to do this bit if you want to do it yourself. And I'll just smile at him. I don't mind. I've done it plenty of times.
Let these people take some stuff first.
Oh, you've gathered all the things. You've had enough time now to gather all the stuff. You've got it all bundled up, either tied together or laid out for them to carry.
We'll get some of the sticks. We'll make the drag.
Sure. Yeah, that's
things.
cool. Yeah.
I'll hoof as much as I can.
Yeah, you'll get handed a. Morgan will get handed a purse with some money in because you're one of the people we found.
Thanks.
It's got 24 shillings in it.
That's a
Okay.
ransom.
You find all your rest of your equipment, by the way, Morgan. I think I said that.
With the weird flask that we found, I'm gonna. Do you know what this is? Hold on, actually, I'm gonna.
Does that
Pass me the book.
look familiar?
I'm gonna unscrew it and I'm gonna
good.
smell it.
I'm not going anywhere bloody near it.
You're going to unscrew it.
I'm going to say, don't get that anywhere near my flame.
Yeah. Okay. Hang on, bear with me.
What have you got there?
Let's find the right page.
Maybe it's a really nice healing potion.
Really
And you're
nice.
like, I'll tell you in a minute.
I'm
just
not like
thinking.
sticking my nose in and
Yeah.
huffing. I'm just
You're
gonna
having a
kind
good sniff.
I'm
You're having
basically
a
going to
very
look at
good
it,
sniff.
look at it first, and then
Tentative.
tentative sniff.
Well,
It's the rest of my horse.
Smells like
It's
horse.
horse urine. No.
I make glue.
Okay.
Poor Briar.
So look at it, then tentative sniff.
She was a good old
Okay.
man.
Okay. So,
I named her, that's the problem. I named the horse.
the two of them
That's what she said.
absolutely stink. They smell very differently. One has a very earthy, pungent smell to it, and the other has almost like a oily whiff to it. They don't
Have
seem
I
to
any
be.
idea what they are?
I shall go and
You
have
have the heal skill.
I shall
No.
go and have a sniff as well, and potentially use my trade farmer skill.
You can use your trade farmer on one of them, so make a roll.
I will kind of walk over to Torvald with them. Any idea what these are?
Okay. Well, Alvin's sniffing one of them, going, "I'm a farmer."
I'm going to roll it really high.
Trust me, I'm a farmer.
I'm going to use a point on that.
Fortune point. Yeah.
Just sniff.
Oh.
What did he roll?
100.
All zero.
At least that's not a critical fail, bizarrely.
Okay. So you
No,
you have no idea.
it smells like champagne.
Do you have any knowledge?
I saw the 00 and thought this is going to be
Do you have heal?
amazing.
What about
Oh,
seasoned
no,
travellers?
never
I
mind.
have
then
a
it
seasoned
wasn't.
traveller.
Yes.
Maybe.
I'll let you make an intelligence roll on the other one.
I'm allowed.
No, not you. No, not you.
Not you, you
No,
can't
yeah.
make
Oh,
it.
come on, let me.
Survival.
Let me.
Seasoned
Let
traveller
me, because
basically
I rolled
means
9.
he can roll on any common law, I think.
Pete,
Okay, yeah.
let me, because I rolled 9.
Let you.
Yeah.
Okay,
He's not going to let me. It's fine.
so the one you're sniffing,
Yeah.
you suddenly have a flash of inspiration.
Yeah.
And this is a herb that's been turned into a thick liquid, pulverized, added to various other elements, bit of water, bit of ale sometimes. It's called earthroot. And it basically is very good for treating the buboes caused by the Black Plague. Did you
I haven't done yet.
make an intelligence roll?
Passed with one successful.
Okay. This is called Factorial, and is an oily, thick poultice that you've been told that when rubbed into wounds can cease bleeding. So for game effect, you can remove all bleeding conditions without a heal test. That's got 4 doses in it. The Earthroot's got 3 doses in
I'll make a note of that.
Yeah.
Do you guys tell me what this is?
it. He goes, yeah. You've come across this before in your days as a farmer.
My days of... When we were on the
I
farm...
mean, it says anyone trade tools herbalist, but we've kind of crossed
I
the...
think we decided that the only useful skill you could attach to trade farmer was herbalist,
Yes, we did.
basically.
We did. But, you know, it's going good fun.
Or selling pigs.
I'll explain what the one I've got to him is only in Khalizad.
Okay.
And I shall say that this is medicine for the Black Plague.
All right, I'm going to put caps on both and go, you better look
That's
after
somewhere
these and
safe.
hand them to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Torvald?
Okay, cool. So, everything's gathered together. You've found some interesting items. You've shared out the money between the
Everyone,
Prisoners.
basically,
peasants, the prisoners.
not the four of us. Everyone that's not the four of us.
Yep. And
Four of you guys.
yeah. Siegbert.
Including Sigbert.
Yes. And you kind of gathered everything together and you are ready to leave. And Siegbert stands over what's now a larger hole in the floor and says a final prayer to Sigmar. May you consecrate this place and banish foul chaos. And he kind of just drops the torch down the hole. And it's like and he's lit from below with this fiery glow. And for a moment he looks quite intimidating. In a good way. And he kind of, the smoke starts to rise out of it, and he sort of steps forward and says, "Let's get out of this foul place."
In Kazalid, I'm going to say to her, I think new career suits the manling.
He kind of looks at you, not knowing what you're saying, but
Better than being a drunken fop.
There'll be he may not understand it. There's a certain approving tone, I think.
yeah, he got that much. But he's like, So, you guys leave the Brazen Boar and you kind of walk out of the front entrance. It's not quite walking away from an explosion, but you are walking away from a
But there's
burning
definitely a
tavern.
glow.
There is a glow.
We're dwarves, so it's in slow motion
Oh yeah,
anyway.
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, there was a few hidden barrels of gunpowder. And it just and you make your way now through the overgrown ruins of the village that was obviously here before, as we you figured out that
As we leave, I shall point out some sights of. There's an orc arrowhead.
Yeah.
And there's another one.
Yep. And you make your way back to the road where Hartwin sort of standing there with his bow, and Gertrude and Harold are waiting, and they're kind of stunned to see
This crowd of
this
people.
crowd of people. And Hartwin's like looking around a bit sheepishly, like, "You guys had a load of fun without me, didn't you?"
Yeah.
Aye. You missed more of them.
Fine. I never miss.
Well, you did this time.
Fine. And he kind of puts his bow away and sits down. We going then? Gertrude
Sort of pack of
looks
stuff.
around. She's looking for the halfling amongst the crowd, and she looks over at Alvin and then across to Siegbert, and Siegbert just, he's with Sigmar. She kind of sort of
Comment.
More.
No comment.
Even Sigmarites believe when you die, you go to more.
with more. Sorry, yes, with more. Yes.
What are you pointing me for?
No, I'm just pointing. Yes, you're right. Yeah. Okay, so you get all the stuff. I mean, you've all been carrying this stuff through the woods, past like a burnt body of a Fimir and another one to one side, and the fog has kind of gone now. That strange fog that had gathered, not around. Even you remember a strange fog, and you kind of put everything on the wagons, on your wagon, because that's the one that's going to Armdorf, whereas the others, they're going off to, I keep forgetting the name.
Dunkelberg?
That's the one, thank you. And
We should get some food out.
Yeah,
So
we'll get
they
food
are
and
ravenous.
We'll get
And you
food
kind
and
of
water.
crack some wineskins and stuff, and they're kind of eating, and the woman says, "Look, calm down. We will just slowly, you know."
Oh, wait.
You kind of spend some time while they eat. And you get your wagons in order and everything, and Gertrude and Howard say, "Well, there is a bit further before we get to the split."
Yeah.
So, you know, and then we'll be heading off, sort of runs parallel with the river for a bit, and then we hit the bridge across Dunkelberg. You guys have probably got a a day or something to get to Armdorf. So
Sorry about the halfling.
Harold has seemed to be really quiet since you got back, and he's just not talking.
What's the trade like in Dungelberg?
Dunkelberg.
Yeah.
It's it's a town. A few thousand people, and it's there's a lot of trade there. We go there a lot. Hence we're going on this route. Recently, we know there's been trouble on the road. We don't know why, but
I'm just wondering whether or not it might be worth, as the little village we're going to doesn't have much in the way of trade or the ability to trade. Whether
and they kind of look sheepishly at the villagers and go,
Yeah.
I know that most people kind of skip.
and
go straight to
I'm just
Griffenwald.
wondering that actually we've gathered quite a lot of goods. Perhaps some of them can be taken. You can trade them. Perhaps send someone back.
Well, the next boat that goes down the river, we can send to make them stop off at Armdorf.
Drop off some goods and some.
Yep. We can talk to them about the kind of thing that they need in the village.
I'm just thinking that might be a really good way to help the village out.
We'll have a better idea of that when we get there.
How big a detour is it for you to stop there? I'll look at the people from our caravan.
To stop where?
It's on the river, isn't it?
The city. The
Dunkelberg.
village.
Oh, the village.
Aye.
Well, it's a day to the village, and then maybe another couple of 3 days out to the thing.
No,
we
that's
just
fine.
want to get to Dunkelberg. To be
No,
honest.
that's fine.
Especially now that there's only two of us. It's gonna be harder for us to manage the wagons.
That's fine.
One of the villagers says, "Well, I'm happy to go with them. If you want, with these goods and see that they're sold. I have an idea of what's needed in the village, and I'm happy to do that. And then come down the river.
Yeah.
Keep whatever you sell them for and use it to buy stuff for your village.
Yeah. That seems the easiest thing to do.
And the villagers have a little bit of a conversation about what they might need. Some sort of any kind of herbs and things like that might be useful. But then it comes down to the kind of standards of materials for building and food and things like that.
It might be worth you keeping hold of some of those weapons and armour for yourself.
Oh well. Thank you for your help. I owe you all my life. If you're still in Armdorf when I return, then can I buy you a drink at the cider alley?
I'm not writing that down. Heartwing can make note of that.
Well, you don't need to buy it, but when you get there, we'll have one. If we're there.
Okay. Great. So, that villager says he'll go off with Gertrude and Harald, and you get going once again. With your horse?
I shall prefer Morgan, my horse, as I am too weak to ride.
Okay.
I am in need of rest.
I feel like someone should be healing you.
Well, no one has, so I'm going to sit on a cart and feel
I
sorry
could
for
give him
myself.
a look over.
I could hit him with my axe, but that won't really hit.
He offers you his horse, and you can tell that he's...
I am too weak to ride. If you would tend my horse while I fall asleep on the cart.
Alright.
Someone
How
must
bad
keep an
does
eye
he
out.
look?
It's severely wounded.
Yeah, he's got a really nasty gap in his armour where something's clearly gone in that shouldn't have done.
Well, I do have heal.
Okay, make a heal roll. Hang on, let
I'm
me...
not promising I'm any good at it, but I do have heal as a skill.
That's more than the rest
He's a
of
willing patient, so I'll give you a plus 10.
I wouldn't put it past Alvin to be unwilling when it comes to
Being healed.
27.
mainly because,
Right, and what's
Alvin.
your skill with a plus 10 on it?
Well, my skill, I've got 5.
Plus whatever.
And what's the stat related to heal?
I don't know, it's not on this.
I think
Intelligence?
intelligence.
So 38 plus the
10.
bonus.
Yeah, so 48.
48.
And what did you roll?
27. So
So
2.
it's 2 success levels.
Alright.
Okay, so heal. Heal wounds equal to your intelligence bonus, so the first digit of your intelligence, which is 3, plus success levels.
5.
So you heal 5 wounds.
Woohoo! Wicked. So the poultice, I think the poultice did 4.
You do look like you need a rest.
Yeah. I do need a rest. I think the poultice did 4.
Yep.
And then I had 1. So and then 5 was back to 10.
Try not to lay on.
Are any of those
that.
wounds caused by the tail of a Fimir? I
Um,
can't remember.
No, I think it was the. It
was me.
It was the shanking.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It was
got
me.
basically-
I was the one
yeah.
who got.
Yeah.
yeah, because basically
Beat
I
me
What,
up.
you
the
beat
tail.
him up?
Yeah, it was
No.
me.
I disarmed him.
Torvald was disguised as the Fimir.
I disarmed him so he didn't have a weapon, and then he critically hit me and nearly killed me. I was like, what's going on?
Just
was
be
genius.
glad that
He
was
didn't have a
unarmed
weapon.
rather than the
That was
weapon.
genius. Yeah, he like stuck his fingers in your gut.
Yeah. Pretty much, and I nearly
There's an interesting thing on that. If that happens, you can take a point. You can damage your own armor to ignore a
Yes,
critical.
you can.
Oh, right.
Which we didn't know last
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've
So your
been
armor
reading the
value,
rule.
Yeah.
your armor points goes down by 1.
Right, to ignore the critical. Okay.
Yeah, so
I-
like literally just tear a hole in your armor instead of your guts.
Oh,
I didn't know that last week. I literally borrowed the book
Okay.
off Pete this week.
Yeah. I've just been reading the rules.
Okay.
What's their name?
I've not been a horseman that long,
Alright.
and I tend to find things die around me, so naming the horse wouldn't really be that good an idea. I don't think.
It's called horse.
It's called horse.
It's called Tesco.
I have not named my horse. I really haven't named the horse.
I know you haven't named the horse. Morgan might
I
name the
don't know
horse.
how long you've had it for.
Yeah.
I've
Maybe your
been here
best
for
buddy.
like an hour.
So I've
Call
had
it
the horse-
Gunter.
I've had the horse. For about 5 days?
Yeah.
About 5 days.
Yeah.
5 days ago, I jumped on a horse and decided I was going to be a horseman.
Did you steal it?
Well, there was not much payment going on.
Liberated.
Yeah. I think
Everything is liberated.
I
We
shall-
liberated it.
Horse
I
seems-
shall tend the horse.
the horse seemed willing.
The horse did seem willing.
Yeah, seemed quite excited when we ran away from that really big beastie.
So, you guys travel. You heal him on the back of the wagon.
Yep. And
You're
look after
making
his
your
horse.
way. You know the guys, the villagers, and you guys are helping to sort of figure out how much all of the gear they think they could get for it, and therefore what they could get when they get to the other end. So you spend the rest of that
Apart
day.
from the 2 healing things, we're
Sure.
hanging on to them for the village.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
they're evaluating it.
Yes. You can make an evaluate roll. It doesn't matter because that's all going to happen
I
over
know,
there.
I know.
yeah.
I'm
But
just
yes,
like, I
that
have
would be an
skills.
evaluate skill. Yes. As it's starting to get dark, it's been raining most of the day, as it does in most of the Empire in my game.
Grim and dark.
It's grim and dark. You get to a large T junction, effectively. And it's a big clearing. You know, it's been a lot of trees have been chopped down in this area, and there's a big signpost stuck into the ground. Dunkelberg and Armdorf, which is kind of a smaller little sign. And they say, right, well, it's dark. I don't know if we should camp the night first and then move off in the morning.
Aye.
That probably mean you're at Armdorf before dark, just before dark, which is probably good
Yeah. Let's
timing.
camp.
Plus, you'll get more time under our watch.
Yes.
Best that we stick together at this point, I think. We should do what we did before.
Wagons.
Wagons in a triangle.
Okay. It's a bit cozier inside now with all the extra people. But you're on the carts and on the wagons, you know, they've got their awnings over the top. And you kind of get them all into shape. Heartwin is like, I'm going to be on watch just in case I get to kill something. Because you guys have been killing everything. And you settle down for the night.
If
A nice-
Alvin was in a bit of a state, how are the other 2? Or 3, sorry.
Make a perception roll to see if, as things are being set up, you
Yep.
can judge. So for Bagric,
No, not really.
no, and for Torvald, make a roll.
Oh,
You can't tell under all. You can't tell under all the
Yeah.
arm. That's the
Yeah.
problem, isn't it?
It's the beard that gets in the way.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
3.
Okay. How injured are you?
I've lost half my hit, half of my.
He
half
looks
my
fairly
wounds.
wounded.
I might have a quiet
there's
word.
probably like a trickle of blood or something coming out of
stiff
somewhere.
movement, definitely. Because considering I got bowled across bowled across the room and slammed into a brick wall by Fimir's tail.
Well,
I've not had the best couple of days, but you don't seem to have either. Is there anything I can do?
This rib.
This rib.
well, this one.
It might take me about 3 days to get out of my armour, but this way much.
I'm a dwarf. You
Half waiting for 12 hours to go. A foot rub would be great.
Just a little.
Little on the shoulder. mate.
I've got a knot in there.
No,
You and me
leave
both.
the armour on.
Yeah.
I love an armour massage.
Oh God. Okay.
Clank, clank, clank,
You
clank.
kinky dwarves. I don't know. Okay. Do you want to do a heal?
Fimir. I did take a Fimir's tail to the chest, and haven't felt quite right
I'll
since.
take that. I'll take that as permission.
That's consent.
Yeah, no, I do not help much.
Okay. He's hurt.
Yeah, he's still hurt.
You
He's
kind
not
of
dying.
assess the damage, and you can tell he's not bleeding.
He's not dying.
Yeah, so he's not dying.
I've probably
so-
got some broken ribs, and there's not a lot you can do about that.
Put a poultice on it.
I can confirm you have broken ribs.
And we do have poultices.
Poultices
Or cracked ribs, at least.
stop conditions, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, okay.
The
They're not quite
potions
as-
which
You
we've already
probably
taken,
shouldn't take
you
first
can only
watch.
take one.
You can only take once a day.
Yeah. Oh, that was it. That was a
Or
healing
second.
potion. So the potion was wide. Yeah. I know I took something the game before.
And, Sigbert?
I think Siegbert's okay.
Yeah, no,
Have
Sigbert.
you still got your helmet on?
Yeah, Siegbert's
No.
fine. Okay, so you camp down for the night.
I'm just wondering if Morgan might confuse the two of us.
Don't you have different coloured
You've got
beards?
different
No,
armour.
we've got this.
One of you has got a really big shield.
We've got the same
the other
coloration.
the other one
We're
has a
twins.
crossbow.
Oh yeah. So you probably just like the armour and just slightly is.
Alright, fine, here we go. Yeah, no, can't tell you apart.
We've no idea which
You all
one's
look the
which.
same to me.
Racist.
Okay, so you settle down for the evening.
Yeah.
No fog appears. There's no creeping mist, and you have an uneventful, if still slightly scary. You've got you've just had this violent experience. There's Fimir in the woods somewhere, maybe underground somewhere. You kind of all these things kind of creep into your dreams. But you guys, your dreams are kind of
Well, those are
weird
important.
messes anyway.
Yeah.
People in a burning
I'll show
house
that.
and monsters,
Fire,
chaos
fire!
mutants. Yeah.
Is there like a social thing at all, or is it just basically sleep and watches?
People have this haunted kind of look about them. They're not really wanting to socialise and chat. They do talk a little bit about the village, but really only what you've heard about before. Their lives seem very mundane.
Okay.
What?
I was going to see if I could talk to Morgan, but alright.
You can talk to Morgan. Sure.
Well, seeing as he hasn't spoken very much.
Mhm.
You're the only one of these lot that seem to be wearing armour. What were you doing out there?
Going to Amdorf,
Armed like that, what were you doing?
travelling alone.
I can see that, but doing what?
I've been sent from Nunn to investigate the problems there. It seems you're doing the same.
Who sent you? We were sent by, I forget the guy's name.
So do I.
Insert nice chap's name here.
Yes.
Summoning our person that writes things down.
It's in my old notes. I've got season 2 notes.
Now here is the one. Which of these many names is the one I
Where are
need?
the names?
Dip.
All over the place. No, that's
Insert nice chap's name here. Nice benefactor.
Patron, wasn't it?
it
Who
was.
is quite a well-known guy in Nuln.
The guy who was ill.
Yeah,
He was quite ill.
He was very ill. He was dying, in fact.
owned
He
the
was.
Really?
two griffins.
Yes.
Burnwood. Is it something Burnwood?
No.
Insert name of friendly chap
Yeah.
here that
Yeah.
is quite
That's
well
cool.
known
Don't worry.
throughout Nuln.
I'll dig out that we
And
can
well-known nice guy, I think.
make sure we've got that next time. comment below if you remember the name, or if you sneak back and watch the earlier episode and tell us what it is, because we've forgotten. There's lots of things happening.
So yeah, who sent you? We were sent by.
Insert name.
Insert name here.
A priest, Silas, has concerns about the area, and we've heard that there's problems with the villagers there.
A priest. Which one, Sigmar or Verena?
No.
The other one.
The other one. Which? Sorry,
Ulrich.
I've not been long out of
You
the
probably
hole.
know about Ulrich.
Oh, Ulrich. That's another one. One
no,
of them.
and not Shalia either.
Which one? I'm not that familiar with your manling gods.
More.
Which one's that?
The god of the dead.
Ah. That explains all the black. What were you sent to investigate why people were dying?
Something like that.
Well, that wasn't what we were sent for, but I'd imagine we'll look into that if we're there.
The crime family.
Aye, that's bloody Sansavinos, and I'll spit on the floor. They've been kidnapping people.
I've heard of bad things, but I've never had proof.
And in a much lower voice than summoning demons.
Really?
You'll basically pull the shield off his back and hold it up, and you'll see some big claw marks down there.
Strange, otherworldly, vicious-looking. No creature, even a Fimir, could tear it like that.
In my dream, I will go, no, it's the blue one.
Yeah, you'll probably look at the quality of the dwarven steel and think, Sling it back over.
When was this?
Probably about 4 days ago.
About 4 days ago.
This week?
6 months ago. I don't know.
No.
When did we do
It's
it?
about 4 days ago. Because it was...
No. I mean, in real life.
It was the day before I got a horse.
Aye, it has been, but we need to put an end to these buggers. Can't trust any agent of the ruinous powers.
They were summoning heart twin chips in. They were summoning things in different areas of the city. They had sites in basements and things.
They
It
had,
was disgusting.
there was one where there was some skeletons guarding. Well, I'm not sure if they were guarding. They were there, and there was warp stone.
Skeletons.
Aye.
Weren't they
Undead.
those?
Frowny face.
But they weren't people skeletons, were they?
Mainly rats and dwarves,
Yeah.
wasn't it? It looked like there had been a fight there a long time ago. All of the corpses were skeletal.
Siegbert pulls out the sword. He's still got the sword, isn't he?
Yeah, I
So we found this. It looks very cool.
It's got squarish looking dwarven.
I shall wake up and
it's
say...
kind of geometric
I
blade.
shall wake up and say, and he
But
doesn't
built for
bloody
human.
use it, now he's got his hammer.
built for
And
human
then fall
size.
asleep again.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, if we're heading in the same direction and you don't mind me joining you temporarily.
Just shrug, if you want. But you're right, though. Must have been a bloody nightmare with those Fimir.
Could have been worse.
You hear a in the background, and as you look up in the moonlight, you see a raven perched on a tree.
Heartwin? No.
I could swear that's the same bloody bird. Says glancing up at it.
Okay, it's starting to get really dark now. And the fire is sort of burning a little low, and some of the villagers are starting to go to sleep. Some of them wake up from nightmares and then go back to sleep. Alvin's doing that dog sleep thing. Fire, demons,
Not the blue
kill,
one.
shield.
So is he obviously having some sort of dream nightmare thing, or is
They'll be
least-
experiencing something.
At least every night.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll bear
You've
that
got
in mind.
insanity points, haven't you?
Yeah.
Sam?
I have
Or
insanity
corruption.
points.
We'll need to give
One
you
of
some.
the two.
Yeah.
Maybe
I shall
both.
take whichever watch I'm given, and I shall sleep when I'm not.
Okay. So the night passes without any kind of aggressive incident, and the morning comes, and some of the people sort of wake up startled and like they're not trapped in a small room tied up with other people, kind of moment of realization, and then they kind of start to do the like, we've got some food, we'll make some breakfast, we'll start giving it out to these nice people who have helped us, and they make you a breakfast from your supplies, but they make you a nice breakfast from it. And Heart Twin's like, Gertrude and Harald are going to head off as soon as they've got their wagons ready because they want to get going. They're a bit, worried about the journey, but they've got someone with them now at least. So,
all right, let's get the wagons loaded up.
Okay.
I shall find a stream, have a wash, and spend some time practicing my limbs as I'm quite injured. So I shall do my
your carter.
Yeah.
Ha, hoo, ha.
Yeah, with my spear and my shield and my.
Okay, cool. Yeah, with the shirt off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
okay.
yeah.
Yep. Shirtless
What time
Alvin
of
standing
year
on a
is
rock.
it?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
It's autumn.
Okay.
He doesn't care.
Just like strapping bits of armour on.
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
I need a little.
Well, since he kind of asked me to, and since I don't have mine to do, I will look after his horse.
Okay.
I shall just wonder whether it's worth us sending someone to the bigger town to get information. If we're going to be a couple of days to this village, and if one of the villagers is going to travel back to the village,
What if Heartwind borrows your horse?
I'm just thinking.
Hartman says, "Look,
Well, to be honest, Heartwind could go, and then the guy's going to have to buy a caravan or buy a wagon of some kind to get the goods back.
boat," says the villager.
Yeah, so
We'll
come back by boat. So I'm
It's
just
not
thinking.
like he's short of cash.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if someone.
Hartman says, they're good people as well, and
Yeah.
we want to see them just
And,
ride off up the
and
road
a
and get
villager,
murdered.
a villager on his own,
Yeah, just make
travelling
sure that.
back with all those goods.
Make sure he gets back safe.
You just have to wait for me at the village.
Yeah.
It'll be a few days.
I think we'll be at the village for a few days before we can go.
Yeah, we'll
anywhere.
probably be looking around. But
Yeah.
what was the name of that pub?
The
Cider alley.
cider.
Yeah, we'll meet you at the cider alley. We'll probably get a room there or something.
Yeah.
One of the villagers sort of bringing over breakfast goes, "Oh, you know Volcard Cider Alley, do you? Have you been there before? It's good,
No.
good tavern."
I think that's where we're going to stay. We'll probably be in town for a few days. We'll wait for our companion to get back with your friend.
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, so Heartwin kind of gathers his stuff, his bow, trusty bow, and gets on the wagon with Gertrude, Harold, and the villager, and they kind of head off.
How much is a horse?
About 350.
How much is a horse?
Hang on. How much is a horse?
Some
12
gold.
hands.
Yeah, I was
12 hands. That's a very small horse.
right. What kind of horse do you want?
It's like a
draft
little pony.
horse, a riding horse,
Riding horse.
Or a war
15
horse.
gold crowns.
Okay.
What about like a better
I
horse?
shall ask Hartwin if he can lend me 5 gold crowns.
A light war horse is 70 gold crowns.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing this out there. That's not a problem.
All right. Yeah. I'm
Don't
sorry.
remember.
Sorry,
You
I
want to
forgot.
steal
I
Heartwin's
forgot
money
that.
before he
I
leaves.
forgot. Sorry, I forgot that. Can you?
Yeah.
Can you? I might need a slightly bigger, chunkier horse, maybe.
You want to buy him a horse?
Yeah.
Bring it down on the barge.
Yeah. You sort
Who's
out
got
some
funds?
How much is a horse? Look, Bagrick will just look at you and
Should
throw.
we go for the
The villager says, "What kind of horse
Should we
do
go
you
for
want?"
the 70? Should we go for the
You're a
70
warrior.
one?
You want a war horse?
Yeah. Let's go with that.
Well, you might. Yeah, you might need. Yeah, 6 dozen gold crowns, maybe.
That.
It's a really awkward way of phrasing it.
The bank will give him.
Okay,
the
the
money.
Bank of Bagrick.
The bank of Bagrick.
Oh no, I'm just keeping track of.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll give
Okay.
Hartwin
So
the
just
money.
making a little
Heartwood.
note here, these guys are clearly not shy of coin.
He just hands over a sack of coin. And he goes, cheers.
Have you named your horse?
It's not my horse.
Well, I'm getting a new one, so don't need the old one.
In a few days.
And I can just go.
Well, until then.
Okay.
I really should have named the horse.
You should have named the horse.
I should have named the horse.
I think you should call the horse Theodore.
I'm gonna name. I'm gonna name the next horse
Theodore.
Theodore.
Ted, for sure.
For a reason that I don't know, but apparently it's quite funny or amusing.
Okay. So. Right. So. You guys wave off Hartwin with Gertrude and Harald.
Whoever that is.
Yeah. See you,
Bye.
Jim.
Bye.
And they head off towards Dunkelberg. You guys turn right and head off to the down the lesser used track towards Arndorf.
Path less followed.
The path less followed. And towards the end of the day, with a day of rain, overcast skies, looming trees, and a feeling of slightly being watched, but that you may just be paranoid.
It might just be the very
I am paranoid.
The raven is following you, definitely. Once or twice it actually perches on the wagon as you're going.
See, how do the villagers feel about that? Because that's not a good sign.
They are slightly disturbed by it. Slightly, but they're just glad that they're heading home.
Is this the point where me and Bagrick are the only ones who are looking at this bird going, is this normal?
Don't look at it. One of the villagers says, don't look at it. It will draw attention.
Without thinking it's any remotely big deal, Bagger will just go, that one's a priest of Moor, the god of the dead.
You're now all on pretty much one wagon.
And everyone just goes,
To be fair, at this point, it's probably in Calizar.
So you're the one that
No.
Oh, is it?
That was in, because everyone was talking Reichspiel. Bagrick just without thinking just blurted it out in Reichspiel.
in Reichspiel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone's talking Reichspiel, so he just
Yeah.
kind of went, it's
So
just a priest.
So you're the one that Anselmo sent for.
I've been sent, yes.
So you're going to solve everything for us and get rid of the plague and
I'm
make the
here
village
to
whole
help.
again. More be praised. You can tell it's obviously the first time that person's maybe said that in a while.
In Caslid this time, we're collecting priests.
And you guys kind of make your way towards this small village. You've wended your way. The hills are off to your right, slightly, sort of growing taller and further away from you.
Oh,
And
the
as you-
hills are getting bigger and more hilly.
More hilly. And now, as you're coming, you can see the rivers coming in besides the hills. And where it kind of comes together, there's a little village. And it's got a small palisade wall around it. And there is a kind of little wooden hut on stilts on the other side. I would say watchtower, but that would be
A bit of a
being
grand
generous.
word, yeah.
Yes. This is a hut on stilts on the other side of this palisade. And someone sees you coming, and they quickly actually open the gates for you. And as you go in to the village, you can see the river flowing one side, the hills on the other, and the rain is coming down. The road, it's not really roads, it's kind of mud slick, and the town is kind of ramshackle around you. Some of the buildings are abandoned, and you can see a big smithy to one side. It looks strangely big for this area. Maybe a long time ago someone thought this would be a great place for a village and prosperous, and they built a great smithy here to help all the travellers coming through with their horses and boats and all this kind of thing. But it's quiet. The smithy is quiet and there's no activity there. You can see two steeples behind some buildings, and further on between two large houses in a kind of alleyway. You can see a tavern with a sign over it saying cider alley. And some people are moving around the village. Sorry, it's getting dark though, so people seem to be hustling their way home. And you guys make your way towards the tavern, and we shall finish there.
Oh.
Cool. Okay, cool. Right, good fun, good stuff. Bit more story. A little, we've had all the murdering and butchery, and now we get onto a bit of the story of season 2. So lots of fun. Thank you for joining us for episode 4 of Flint and Steel.
Sorry, what?
Flint and Steel. Sorry, I'll just do it whenever. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. Had a lot of fun with that one. Nice to bring in, as I said, a bit of the story and the wider world of the Risen Land and
Been
the
outed by a
White Land.
dwarf.
Been outed by a dwarf. Yeah.
The blackened armour really should be taken away.
Well,
It may have done to you, but you humans have got how many gods?
Loads.
10.
Loads. 10. Yeah, you can roll a d10.
I did.
Yeah.
2.
Cool. Okay, so please don't forget to go and check out our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Also, check out our Discord. There's a link below for that. There's also a link for our Patreon. Everyone who supports us helps us make it a bit better for everybody else. So thank you to everyone who is a patron of the channel. We also have a Redbubble where you can get wonderful mugs that we're making with maps and logos and character sheets and stuff on. So please go and check that out. There's a link for that below as well. We also have the big subscriber giveaway. There's a link below for that. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in 2 weeks for more Flint and Steel. Bye-bye.
Bye.